We're going to look at 5 athletes that I'm buying cards of now with hopes to flip them in 3 months, 6 months, or maybe even longer than that. But first, here's your intro. Lately, we've got quite a few questions on Twitter about who are people that you should be buying, and in today's video, I used to do this quite a bit in the past, but we're going to just look at some players that I've been purchasing recently, and my logic behind making said purchase. So right now I'm on cardladder.com. We've talked about it on here before. It's great. You can look up recent sells, you can look up player indexes, and the player indexes, for example, like we'll look at Tom Brady here, and if I go to Tom Brady, it's going to show me his index of X mini cards. So here's all these cards that goes into it, and it shows me how the value of his cards have changed over time. So I can zoom in 3 months, 1 year, all time. You can see a lot of different things with Card Ladder. Phenomenal resource. So who are 5 athletes that you could be or maybe should be buying right now? Some of these are probably a little bit questionable, so I want your take on them. But let's start at the top. De'Aaron Fox is one that's caught my eye recently. It's not a surprise that he is requested to be traded, and it seems like the Kings are willing to explore that interest. He wants to go unapologetically to San Antonio, which is super exciting, and that's going to be a trend that we see over the next few years. Like, legitimately, every superstar player, particularly point guards, or at least guards, should want to go there to play with Wemby, because you're going to be on nationally televised TV for the next 10 to 15 years, playing alongside somebody who's going to make any team a winner. And if De'Aaron Fox ends up there, whether he gets traded or just, I mean, if it's his preferred destination, I don't know that the Spurs are really motivated to go get him right now. They can just wait till free agency and attempt to sign him. But at some point, Fox is going to end up playing alongside Wemby. I do totally believe that that's possible. We've seen over the last 3 months or so, his cards have rallied quite a bit. He is playing very good basketball this year, and just playing alongside, not necessarily second fiddle, although Wemby's going to be the one making headlines, but like combining Fox and Wemby would just make a superstar duo that everybody would want to see. And let's be real, Spurs are going to be a lot more exciting than San Antonio. Number 2, Justin Fields. There's a caveat here. I don't think Justin Fields is a very good football player. Like, I like him, seems like a real good dude, and he wasn't horrible with the Steelers last year. I think going into the NFL season, on opening day, he's going to be the starting quarterback on somebody's roster. I don't know if Pittsburgh moves on from the Russ Wilson experiment and does a year with Justin Fields to see what that looks like, because he didn't look horrible while he was their starting quarterback last year, or if just another team that's QB needy talks himself into Justin Fields, because it's not a particularly strong draft class this year. So either way, however that shakes out, I think he's going to be a starter, and his cards are basically at an all-time low right now. So I would scoop them up, and then once people have talked themselves into him potentially being good going into next year, I would unload before the season starts, before he has the chance to play a single down. I think you're going to make some money that way. Trae Young's another one. So he's just not liked really by a lot of basketball people. He's kind of annoying. I mean, he really does have that annoying personality. But his cards are also at an all-time low. And the thing is, he's not putting up the numbers this year. He was not even an all-star. But I think he's changed his game. He's playing more winning basketball. He realized he's not Stephen Curry. And instead, he's doing things that are like contributing to winning. He's facilitating more. And I think he's on an Atlanta team that has some scrappy young talent and could be pretty good in a year or two. And if he can still keep playing like this winner instead of just a shot taker that he has been historically, I think more fans are going to rally behind him, and his cards really aren't going to be able to go much lower. Like, look at this 2-year chart. So I like his cards. Whether he gets talked into some trade rumors sometimes, whether he ends up elsewhere or whether he just keeps doing what he's doing now and leading the Atlanta Hawks to a more winning culture. Either way, he's somebody to be watching. And then next up, Jason Dominguez. He, during the pandemic, I believe, let's go back all time, I remember people just fighting over his cards when they first launched. So that would be back here when this first Bowman came out. And then if you look, I mean, they're down 82% over the last year. They're down 30% over the last 2 years. They're down 43%. I think this is the year that they actually start to match the hype around him. He's going to be leading off for the Yankees. Very young, very exciting talent. And I'm buying some of his cards right now to hold, because I don't think the Yankees took the big L this year that some people thought they were going to, at least in the offseason. And then, finally, Aaron Rodgers. This one's a controversial one. I want to hear in the comments what you think. But, okay, so he's a weird dude. He's not necessarily likable. The documentary painted him in a good light, but, like, what would you expect from something that he's, like, you know, involved in the production of? But I do think, regardless of what he's doing on the field this year or last year or next year, I think 5 years from now, this is kind of a long-term play. And if you can buy his cards right now, like, let's zoom out and look all time. I don't necessarily know what that looks like. But we're trending down, and we're at a definitely an all-time low post-pandemic. So, and he has like 20 years of cards, basically, because he's a rookie in 2005. So, we're near the all-time low, at least post-pandemic. And I think buying his cards now, he's going to be a Hall of Famer. He's put up some good stats, and there's going to be some, you know, Jets and Packers fans and just down the road that come around on this idea of Aaron Rodgers as an all-time great, and his cards are going to gain some value there. So that's my list. Those are 5 people I've been buying now, short, long, midterm holds, and I would love to hear your thoughts or other players that you're watching in the comments below. Thanks for watching this video. I'll see you next time.